I'm Beck. I'm a rising senior at Trevor Day School, and I completed my final project. Um, so my final milestone consisted of kind of redoing and reconstructing and modifying my project. So what I initially did was had a kind of robotic arm that kind of swept over my instrument and my strings, but I was offered a stepper motor, which is a much stronger motor, and I thought that maybe it would be a cool modification to make a conveyor belt. But I ended up kind of just thinking that that might be impractical, so I made a linear slide, and the linear slide system worked out pretty well. I had to 3D print all the parts. So I had to 3D print the stands, a rack, and a pinion to kind of slide back and forth as the motor moves. And attached a micro servo to the rack. So as the rack moves back and forth, the micro servo moves as well, and the micro servo is still controlled by the flex sensor glove, and this is for picking. I also redid the strings so that instead of 4 strings, there are 8 strings, and they're all metal strings, they're guitar strings. And I also made a bridge to sustain tension in the strings, and I had to do this by taking a strip of wood and making little slots for the strings. And I also had to cut holes into the wooden board just to amplify sound, and I redesigned kind of the way I attached the strings on the other side, and now they're a little shorter than they were before, but they're projecting. And some difficulties I faced were definitely doing the strings, because for a while I was still sticking to the nylon strings and they kept snapping, so I ended up just taking some of my guitar strings and bringing them in and setting them up, and they worked out pretty well. I also had to work on waiting for 3D parts to be printed, which took a while, so it was kind of frustrating putting everything together where some parts weren't printed yet. But overall, everything is now completed. So right now I have the headset on, and I have the flex sensor glove on, and the machine is reading my brain waves to detect if there are any high theta wave activity or beta wave activity, and depending on that, it will move either left or right. So right now it moved right, and it should move. Yeah, it will move. If it detects any sort of activity, it will start to move. But it's hard to control so far, but I plan to get better at controlling it. So I came to BlueStamp expecting to build something that I kind of really always visualized in my head. I wanted to make something where music was played with EEG headset or any sort of brainwave activity. So I came in kind of having that idea, and I wanted to make that into a reality. So I kind of came up with a build plan with the help of BlueStamp, and I learned how I would actually do it. And I followed my build plan, and I came to BlueStamp for the first few weeks. I learned a lot of different things, like how to code Arduino and how to work the flex sensors, and I figured out basically how I would actually get the machine to work. And once I did, I started to do modifications to it and started to kind of make it have my own kind of ideas more incorporated on it. And right now I plan to keep working on it and keep making it better, because there's still things that I would like to work on. Like I'd like to maybe amplify the sound a bit, or get the brainwave. Maybe I'll get a different headset to be a little more accurate. But there are a lot of things that I would want to work on, but right now the machine is at a basic functioning level, so everything is finalized so far. So, but I will still work on it in the future. Thank you.